is I can't afford a 900 quid a month mortgage, so I have to keep paying 2 grand a month in rent. It's ridiculous. Anyone else in the same boat?
The cost of living in Ohio is getting more and more expensive each day. There is no reason why. I just had to spend $600 on my electricity bill for 1 month. And then our Senator John Husted says that we just need to make more money, and that Ohioans who are financially struggling are just not experienced at navigating the real world, whatever that means. Rent is through the roof. Gas is through the roof. Groceries are high, clothes are high, even ice cream is expensive. It's getting ridiculous. And I know I'm not the only one who deals with this, because all of my family, all of my friends are also dealing with this here in Ohio. Are y'all seeing anything that is crazy high right now? I mean, I know we all are dealing with the gas prices, but I don't know, is anybody else's electricity super high? I've never had to pay $600 for 1 month of electricity. The rent prices in Ohio, in Stark County, are rising quicker than wages. How are we raising the rent but not the wages? It doesn't make sense to me. This is affecting real families in our communities. We need to be calling our representatives and telling them to do better. This is ridiculous.
How much does everyone spend on their weekly food shop? Like, what is going on these days in the UK? We're a household of 3. I go food shopping most Sundays for like the week, and I probably reckon I spend about 100, 120 quid a time. But then I probably do about 2 or 3 top-up shops throughout the week. So I reckon we're probably spending about 200 quid a week. Something like that. I'd be curious to find out how much you're all spending a week and how many people in your household. Let me know.
What is the solution to the cost of living crisis? Is it universal basic income? Is it getting a guaranteed check in the mail or deposited into your account every month to make sure that your bills are paid and that you don't have to worry about becoming homeless, that you can have a little bit of, leeway to pursue a different career and stuff like that? Or is it getting all of those needs guaranteed to you, like guaranteed housing, guaranteed food, guaranteed water and stuff like that? That sounds ideal to me. Or is it just working as hard as you can, keep going on that hamster wheel and hoping that things work out? Is that the solution, or is there something else that I haven't thought of? You let me know.
In all honesty, see if you're feeling skint right now, and it is not just you. Everybody is feeling it. And here's why you're feeling skint. So if you're new here, my name's Grania and I talk about being better with money. So follow along to get better with money. I think in the last 10 years, I have really seen a huge difference in how far your money can stretch. 10 years ago, I was working full time. Mortgages were definitely cheaper than they are now. I mean, they were about half what they are now. So whenever I first moved into my house, it cost me £80 for electricity and gas combined. Now I'm paying over £200. So that is more than double in a 10-year period. Wages haven't more than doubled in that time. 10 years ago, I was spending about £70 to £80 per week on groceries, and that was only for 2 of us. Now I also have 2 children. That amount has easily doubled. I'm spending about £150 per week. Obviously we've doubled, but I've got 2 young children and it shouldn't really have doubled to that extent. It is ridiculously expensive, and some weeks we could easily spend £200 on groceries. Whenever I first bought my house, I also had car finance. My car finance was £161, but most car finance on average is about £300 per month. So if you're feeling skint and you're on a decent wage of say 50, 60, 70,000 and you're thinking, why the hell is my money not stretching? You've got a mortgage just about £1,000 per month, 1 or 2 car finance deals on £300 a pop, £150 to £200 grocery bill, extortionate gas and electricity prices. And then if you're a parent, you have to factor in childcare, and say you got a credit card bill to pay off every month, you also have loans. All that adds up. Is anybody else feeling this? Let me know in the comments. How are you doing financially at the minute? Do you feel the pinch as well? Okay, bye.
Welcome to day 5 of lowering my cost of living. I'm doing one thing every single day for 30 days to lower my cost of living. We have a big one today. Also, ignore this on my shirt. This is literally drips of water because I just washed my hair. I've been paying for a YMCA family membership for quite some time now because they have a pool and my kids love to swim. So we like to be able to use it in the winter, and then I use it to work out. But at this point, I can't justify the cost anymore. It's been slowly increasing over time, but now we are all the way up to $83 a month. And I know the YMCA does so many good things for kids and families and stuff, but I just don't have the income anymore to have this kind of bill coming out of my account monthly. So what I did for now is I called and I put it on a 3-month hold, so this won't come out of my account for the next 3 months. I do need to decide if I'm going to permanently cancel it. It's tough because there's not a lot to do with kids in the winter, and if your kids like to swim, there's not a lot of options for pools, but that is a large expense. So when we add it to the previous day total of $23.22, we are saving $106.22 a month by putting my YMCA membership on hold for the summer.
So I want to know how everyone is doing this, how everybody is surviving. I was looking back at one of my Facebook memories the other day, and it was at this time of the year I was planning my holidays for the summer. There will be no holidays this summer. There will be relocation this summer, but not holidays. And the reason is because it's too damn expensive to live in Canada. Last month, my power bill was $800. And it was $800 for the last 6 months. Now, with 3 people living here, one that's not even here all day and very conservative about everything that we use, I'm without understanding how that this could be possible. And everybody's saying the same thing to me. Most people are working all day and they're not even home. When they are home, they're running in and out of the house. They're not using wads of energy. I lived in the United States with my husband a few years ago, and our power bill with water and all the extras, garbage pickup and everything, was $180 a month. And man, we took full advantage of it because it was on limited water. Here, we're very conservative about it. I don't think we're cheap out on anything, but we're definitely watching leaving no lights on and not overusing everything. Last week I went to get groceries. I bought minimal stuff at Costco. It was $299.98, if you can believe it. Then I left there, went to another grocery store to get the things I couldn't get at Costco, and that cost me almost another $200. That did not include gas or any extras or picking up a coffee or whatever. Because God forbid if we pick up coffee, that's a luxury now, right? How are you doing this? How are you surviving? Our expenses are between $6,000 to $7,000 a month, and that is no extras. That is not saving any money. That is not putting money away for vacation. That is just making the bare minimum every single month. We live in Edmonton, Alberta, which is probably the cheapest place to live right now in Canada. I know the housing costs are quite low here in comparison. If you compare them to the rest of Canada, they're extremely crazy in comparison to the rest of the southern United States. For instance, in Texas, this same house that I live in right now is over $600,000. Would probably be about $200,000 maybe, and you'd get some land with it. It is psychotic what we are paying. I would pay the same amount for health insurance that I'm paying for my power bill here. And I would have way better health care. At least I'd get in to see a doctor. And that's only if we're paying for it on our own. If we had jobs that had health care, we wouldn't pay that cost. The taxes here are just out of this world. Like, there is something wrong with living here. Canada used to be such a wonderful place to live. It used to be inexpensive. It used to be safe. We didn't flood in tons of people that we can't take care of because we can't even take care of our own citizens. I remember when I moved to Edmonton 30 years ago, and we would drive downtown and I would see the scattered homeless person. And now there's complete blocks of tent cities everywhere. There's people walking around on drugs everywhere. My husband and I went for a coffee last night and a drive downtown, and people are literally strung on drugs from one side of the city to the other. I even lived downtown because I liked it so much. What is happening here? And then the amount of construction that has gone up. They've ripped the city to pieces. Get ready for those 15-minute cities. I'm not interested in living in this concrete cold jungle anymore. I don't want to live in an environment where I'm bundled up for 6 months and I've got to pay over $1,000 in heating and electricity and water bills. I'm not interested in warming my car for half an hour to be able to go to the grocery store to buy very expensive food. The cost of living is absolutely insane. Quality of living is not great unless you like to live most of your time inside. And then what happens in the summer? Everything's on fire. So there's smoke everywhere. Chemtrails everywhere. Crazy government, crazy people. I don't know what to say, but oh Canada, it is gone to hell. This is not a good place to live anymore. And if you can leave, leave.
You know how they say the more you make, the more they take? Well, that could not be more true, especially in Wisconsin. I just got my mid-year bonus, and it is the largest bonus I have ever received. I was so excited, but then when I actually got it on my check, it was literally half. Half of it went to taxes. Half.
No one told me that Australia is this expensive until I did my first groceries. Hello, how are you doing? Barnabas here, hope you're doing well. In today's video, I will talk about generally the cost of living in Australia. I'll give you my personal experience and I'll give you some tips when you're moving to Australia, what you can do to be able to survive. Well, that is the reality that hits many people when they move to Australia, and the first few weeks or months can be very difficult, trying to balance and trying to see how to survive. Now, the first big expense is the rent. Rent usually is, most of the time, a half of your pay, or even sometimes 3/4, depending on where you have moved. You get paid, and when you pay your rent, you're almost left with nothing. The second thing is groceries. Groceries is one of the things that are very expensive too. When you go shopping for the first time, you will be shocked at how much you spend. And so it's expensive. But in groceries, please try and shop around. So try and look for what you can afford and try to stick to that. So those are the main things that cost so much. So if you can look for a cheaper rent, then you need to do that in a first world country. That's why many people, you have to look for an extra job, a third job and things like that, because you are fighting to cover the cost of living. Then you've arrived in a first world country. So please take note of that. Where you can, look for something cheaper. Try and start small where you can. Please, you will have all the time if you settle in Australia to look for a bigger house, to even buy your own house. You'll have all the time to look for a better car and things like that. So please don't rush. Start small, be comfortable with starting small, and then you build your life slowly by slowly.